Dear viewers, our today's video is for grade 7. Recently we have read a chapter which was a poem, Leaf in the Wind. If you have missed that video, you must watch that in order to understand our today's video. We will discuss today the questions that is on page number 44 and 45 in Understand and Communicate Book 2. Our today's question is about give a possible meaning for each of these phrases. Number A, the color of night, referring the dark complexion of black community of Africans. It means the poet was referring himself and his community. Number B is at the drift of my dreams, driven and carried away in the direction of my dreams. The poet says this. Opposed to formality, against the prevailing unjust customs regarding a certain community. The breeze that touches you and is gone. A simile that defines free nature of the poet, that is like a breeze, air, which is incontrollable. Simile is a figure of speech where there is a comparison of one thing with a different thing. The earth's powerful eye, it means a visionary community of blacks, of a black community, you can write, that far sees their future, that predict their future. Okay, come to the comprehension side. Answer the following questions. How does the poet suggest that he is full of life? Its answer is the poet considers himself a dewdrop that continuously trickles over in the tree hollow. Both of these similes are dynamic, showing that the poet is full of life and energetic, and is energetic. Now, children, here the poet considers himself a dewdrop that continuously trickles in the tree hollow. If you compare it with flute, as flute is hollow from its inside, but through proper notes, it gives us a very pleasant sound, fine, with the blow of air. So here this hollow and the dewdrops, it gives us a singing sound if you watch the video where we have explained, fine. So these similes, both of these, like dewdrop and the tree hollow, these similes makes us clear that the poet is dynamic. Dynamic means that active. The poet is active and he's full of life and is energetic. Question number 2 is, what are the barriers and formality the poet is opposed to? Its answer is the injustice, the favoritism and nepotism in a society are the barriers for a common man in order to survive. This is a poem where the poet talks indirectly for the rights of the black community struggling for their basic rights. Now, children, there will be a question in your mind. You will be thinking that there was not such word used in the poem like injustice, favoritism or nepotism, such. How can we write that these are the barriers? So its answer can be that poetry is something where the poet indirectly writes about all the unjust things in the society, in the prevailing society, but in a very soft words. So this is basically the beauty of poetry that appeals the majority of people. So what is injustice? Injustice is a treatment which is not balanced, which is not equal in the society. Obviously, it creates a kind of a torture, and favoritism is also a treatment which is not just, which is not on the base of you know equality. And nepotism is again something where we give favor to the blood relationships, where we give them opportunity, where we don't follow the merits. Fine. So in a society, it creates a problem. It creates, a warlike situation. And these are the barriers for a common man in order to survive. So in an indirect way, the poet writes about the struggling community. Explain in your own words the kinds of dreams the poet has. The poet thinks mankind a free-born creature whose dreams are multi-dimensional. These dreams are murmurous, having the lead of a huge mass of people in a community. At the same time, there is peace and serene in it, like that of a child's smile. The echo of this sound is deep, that tells the world through his writings, especially poems. I think the answer is not that difficult. Multi-dimensional, as we have discussed earlier, that his dreams are like stars that has many corners. It means that is multi-dimensional, and the dreams are murmurous. Murmurous is a low and indistinct sound where you cannot identify somebody or some specific individual's sounds in it, but collectively it is a low and indistinct sound. Here you can take it in the meaning of a very large mass of people of his community. It means that he's not alone. He is having the support of many people along with him. And at the same time, this huge mass is not creating a noise. Like there is not a noise-like situation. Still, there is peace and serene in it. People are very happy, and on their face there is a smile, which is that of a child's smile. So in a very beautiful way, the poet is making images and similes in order to beautify his perceptions. And the echo, obviously when there will be a sound, there will be an echo of this sound, and this echo is very deep. There is a depth in this echo, and this echo tells the whole world through his writings. And obviously we are here sitting reading this poem and getting and knowing about the people who are in a different world. So this is the power. We can write here that pen is mightier than the sword. Next question is, what kind of a person does the poet think he is? Yes, a very interesting question. The poet thinks he is a free man, as the other human being, having full freedom and rights. He has his own dreams that drift him. He needs not follow others. He can lead as well, having the leading power and skills. He considers himself a dynamic one who is not weak. So, dear children, we have seen that even more than a normal human being, he considers himself a very special person. Fine, and no doubt he explained it very beautiful. This is a very motivational and a very encouraging for those who are having, low, who are always feeling low about themselves. So this is very encouraging for those and for all of us. Why does he calls himself a leaf in the wind? Yes, he considers himself a free man. That's how, using the simile, leaf in the wind. What is simile? We have discussed that. This involves a comparison between two things. It draws a comparison of one thing with a different thing in order to make it more clear. It means that he is detached from the conventional rules. So that's why he's free. What other images does the poet use to suggest his free and roving nature? Images is again figure of speech, and roving nature. Roving nature is also like free and some kind of a restless nature. The poet has a roving nature, and the images that he had presented in the poem is the first one, the dewdrop that hums in the great tree's hollow. Again, it shows the roving nature. Fine. Because opposed to barriers, again, this shows a roving nature of the poet. Ship without sail. Obviously, this is again a roving nature, that he is the captain of the ship, which is without sail. And the last one is that glides on the sea. Glides is a smooth movement. So there is a glide movement which is not on a plain surface but on the sea. So this is also showing roving nature of the poet, and these are the images which makes this poem very interesting and very appealing for the readers. This is the picture that can tell us that what is the great tree's hollow. So this is the hollow, children, where dewdrops trickles one by one, and this trickling sound gives us a musical note. Fine. So I'm sure you have enjoyed our today's video. I hope you will try to understand these questions, and you will wait for our upcoming more fun videos. Till that, goodbye.